I'd like to call the Traffic Commission hearing for February 27th to order. Members present, City Engineer Nick Rystrom, City Planner Frank Stringy, and Chief of the Fire Department, Chris Bright. If you could join me in a salute to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We're going to be starting with the requests first. And request number 1. Councilor McKenna requests to amend Schedule 8 of Title 10 parking restrictions generally by adding Furlong Drive southerly from Lee Burbank Highway to 3 Furlong Drive and make it 2-hour parking. Do I hear a motion to move this to a public hearing?
Make a motion to send it to public hearing.
Do I have a second?
Seconded.
Second. All in favor, all opposed? Okay. Move that to a public hearing. The second request, amend Schedule 11 of Title Handicapped Persons Parking Areas 10 by removing 18 Hitchbond Street.
Mr. Chair, this one has already been done. I just wanted to do it the right way and just put it into the agenda. And also, if I may add 2 other addresses, instead of doing the public hearings, they had the request. They went into the Revere 311 with the emails, either from the counselors or the residents that had moved out.
Okay.
The other 2 addresses was 208 Prospect Ave and 37 Cambridge Street. So the signs have already been removed.
And what number, Cambridge?
37?
37. And those are to be removed?
Yes, and they've already been taken down.
Okay. Oh, excellent. Okay. Number 3. Amend Schedule 11 of Title 10 Handicapped Persons Parking Areas by adding 181 Mountain Ave and 325 Beach Street. Motion to move that to a public hearing.
Motion.
Second, please. Second. All in favor, all opposed? All right, we'll move that to a public hearing. Number 4, Councilor McKenna requests that the Traffic Commission remove angle parking on the top of Pearl Ave and change it to parallel parking. Motion to move that to a public hearing.
Motion to move the hearing.
Okay, second? Second. All in favor, all opposed? All right. Number 5, the mayor requests that the Traffic Commission to establish a new regulation prohibiting the parking of motor vehicles within 10 feet of a crosswalk. Councilor?
Mr. Chairman, members of the commission, thank you. This is a situation where we have some crosswalks that are mid blocks, and they're not at intersections. So, there's 2 that are bothering me. One on Campbell Ave, right by the public stairs where the kids cross over, and the other one is on North Shore Road down by the Caravan Club that crosses from the Caravan over to Wonderland Marketplace. And what happens is right now there's no regulation on how close anybody can park to a crosswalk. So, I'm suggesting that we make it 10 feet on either side. So this way, if someone walks out, they can look out and cars can see them better driving by those particular locations. So the one on North Shore Road, I know it's a state road, but that crosswalk was put there when there was a overpass over the MBTA tracks behind the Caravan Club. Because people used to come, but that's now been removed. But people still cross there from going from Wonderland train station over to Wonderland Marketplace if they want to walk over and go shopping. So there's a new regulation we want to put in, and then what we're going to do, I talked to Sergeant Giannino, that we're just going to take a case by case and put it in the general parking areas, like no parking within 10 feet of crosswalk on in mid-block. So to that.
So you want to create an ordinance, but we will put them in individually as we come.
That's correct.
Sergeant Giannino?
Instead of making a new table up, we could put it on the Schedule 8 of Title 10. Parking restricted generally. Put the address of the crosswalk. Put no parking between signs for that address, 10 feet on either side of the crosswalk. So
Okay.
in case of North Shore Road, what's the address there, Ira?
1380.
It'll be Schedule 8 of Title 10,
Okay.
location 1380 North Shore Road, no parking between signs 20 feet.
Right.
Okay.
And
This
that'll,
way here, we're not putting a whole new ordinance into play, it's just taking individual locations and,
right.
Okay,
And the Campbell Ave one is like 102, right next to the public stairs.
okay, so, I guess.
Public hearing.
Motion to move this to a public hearing?
Motion to move.
Second?
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Appreciate it.
Counselor.
just to clarify, I'm going to write the public hearing up for Schedule 8 of Title 10 and list the crosswalk at Campbell Avenue and the one at North Shore Road
Okay,
for the next meeting.
correct. Do we have a jurisdiction on doing that on North Shore Road?
We've been posting up that area, and it was the
Okay,
old North Shore Road. The state's been going along with it with us.
good. Okay, fine. Thank you. Number 6, the mayor requests the Traffic Commission to install a stop sign on Sprague Street at the intersection of Winthrop Avenue. Motion to move this to a public hearing?
Move to hearing.
Second? Second. All in favor, all opposed? So ordered. Move that to a public hearing. Number 7, the mayor requests the Traffic Commission and Parking Director to establish a temporary municipal parking lot during redevelopment construction and for snow emergency purposes at the McKinley School. The lot to the left of the basketball court and the lot at the rear of the McKinley School shall be striped accordingly. This will provide business patrons and residents of this area with options for parking at the congested lower end of Yeaman Street. Do I hear a motion to go to a public hearing?
Motion.
Motion, second, okay. All in favor, all opposed? Move that to a public hearing. Number 8, Mr. Fester is requesting that the Traffic Commission amend Schedule 8 of Title 10, Parking Restrictions Generally, by adding Ann Road southerly from Malden Street to a point 40 feet west.
Mr. Chairman, members of the commission, just want to take 1 minute. I just want to explain what has been happening in that area for the last 2 months. You know, it's been, the parking on Ann Road has been increased substantially. And what's been happening is they're parking on the southerly section of Ann Road. And they're actually parking from the corner of the Ann Road, Malden Street, all the way up to Ms. Cautious' house at 16 Ann Road. So what has been happening is that, number one, there's been almost a lot of accidents. Number two, they're parking there overnight, 1 night, 2 nights, 3 nights in a row, sometimes 4 hours. I did put a note on the car respectfully asking them not to park in front of the Veterans Memorial for my dad. But what's been happening also is that they're parking in the driveways. They're parking on Tuesday, February 4th at 4:20, on Thursday the 6th at 4:45, and on Wednesday, the 12th at 5:01. Just in February alone, they're parking in the driveways. So what happened was, at the first, I respectfully went up to the individual who was parking in at my dad's house, and basically what had happened was he said he was waiting to pick up his child, and I said, "You're on private property, please leave." Okay, another week goes by, he does it again, and then I kind of reacted a little bit more forcefully than that. So what has been happening, a lot of the neighbors on Ann Road who are here this evening, the cars are coming down Ann Road, going to the very end of Ann Road, turning around and then parking their vehicles all along. It's becoming increasingly difficult to even go down the street. I met with Councilor Serino, and I met with the building inspector and Mr. Janino to see the situation. I do have pictures that I can leave to show exactly what I'm talking about, because it is increasing so much that you can't even park in your driveways, you can't even go down Ann Road, you gotta be unbelievably careful. There's a number of children that are going down there, and it's not only on Ann Road as well, but even parking, if you go there from 4 o'clock to 6 o'clock or 3 o'clock, they're parking on Malden Street as well. So, I mean, we did try to address the issue, and with these individuals, but they're saying that they're not have any regard to what we're saying. So something needs to be done. And when Councilor Sereno saw the conditions of this particular item and what has been happening, he was appalled because of, people should have respect, and we try to get along with our neighbors and so forth. This has not been happening. I wouldn't be coming here this evening and presenting something of this nature and asking for the amendment to Section 8 on Title 10 unless the conditions were so severe. So I wanted to leave the pictures with you this evening to show you exactly what I'm talking about, and I'd be more than happy to leave this. And thank you for your cooperation.
Thank you very much, Mr. Festa. And also, Councilor Sereno asked me to place a letter on file. Unfortunately, he's working today, but he is in support of this, and he supports this proposal put forward by Mr. Festa. So I'm going to put this into the record. You have it? Okay, very good. Here, why don't you take it? So we can move this to a public hearing. Do I hear?
Motion to move to a hearing.
Okay, second. Okay, all in favor, all opposed. Mr. Festa will move this to a public hearing. That's what we're required to do, so by law. So next Traffic Commission meeting, there'll be a public hearing, and following that, we can make a vote. Okay? Thank you. Okay, so that does it for requests. Now we're going to open up the public hearing. Number one, amend Schedule 11 of Title 10 Handicapped Persons Parking Areas by adding 21 Kingman Avenue, 128 Sigourney Street, and 87 Revere Street. Anyone wishing to speak in favor of 21 Kingman? Anyone wishing to speak in opposition to 21 Kingman? Okay. Mr.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I had just sent the information along to the Traffic Commission stating pictures of the applications and the city ordinances regarding this application.
Okay.
This used to be a condo converted house, a two-family home that was turned into a condominium with driveways that had to be there for it. So there are driveways that are handicap accessible.
Okay. Are you speaking in favor or in opposition?
By the city ordinance, it would have to be in opposition to it.
In opposition. Okay.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
in the future, can we get the recommendation of the Handicap Affairs Director on each one of these?
I sent it.
Okay.
It's in
Yes,
the-
he
He
does.
mi-
He said-
Okay, I know he might have sent an email.
Okay. So he recommends that
That we deny it?
that we deny this one. And there's nobody in the audience speaking in favor. Do I hear a motion?
I make a motion to deny with regard to,
21 Kingman?
yep.
Okay. Second? Second, okay. Let's go on record as all in favor or opposed. 21 Kingman Ave has been denied. The next one is 128 Sigourney Street. Anyone wishing to speak in favor of a handicap sign at 128 Sigourney?
Mr. Chair, if we can just withdraw that one?
Withdrawn.
Withdrawn.
Okay. The next one is 87 Revere Street. Anyone wishing to speak in favor of adding a handicap spot at 87 Revere Street?
It's listed.
It's 89. Okay. Anyone wishing to speak in favor? Sure, come right up. Just press the button on the,
I'm sorry.
perfect, no
Bishop
problem.
Picardi, 89 Revere Street.
Mm-hmm. 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 Okay.
That distance is becoming basically, can't get the sign. She's pretty much homebound.
Okay, so you're still driving? Oh, go ahead. Okay. Yes, Counselor? Okay, I think she wants to speak. Okay. Well, we can... Okay. Well, she wants-
Takes me a little time, but I get
Take your
there.
time.
My name is Helen Picardi, and I live at 89 Revere Street since 1943. Lived in the same neighborhood. I was born at 112, which is now a parking space. I've always pulled way up in my driveway, but now I'm having difficulty. When I open the door, if I park at the edge of my driveway, I can't open the door all the way, and I have a hard time because then there's the grass. There's not much. There's a long driveway, but it's not wide. And I just need to be, I can't walk that far. And when I get my bundles, I can't keep going back and forth to the car to bring it to the front door. I used to go to the back door, but I can't do those stairs anymore.
Okay,
So I don't do my basement stairs either, so.
okay.
And I would like a handicap. Anytime I come home or leave,
Right.
there's somebody there.
Okay.
And I can't park. I also have a pacemaker, which prevents me from doing a lot of walking. So I would really like to have a space in front of my house that I can pull up to.
Okay,
Thank
ma'am.
you.
Thank you very much. Anyone else wishing to speak in favor? Councilor Powers.
Mr. Chairman, members of the commission, I'm here today to speak in favor of this. And I understand the woman does have a driveway, but I think that given the area of the property, backing out onto Revere Street for a woman that's somewhat aged and has some medical problems is very difficult. And these are people that I think we should be helping, people that have lived in this city for 70 years and have paid their dues and made this city what it is. So I'm here today to speak in favor of this, and I would hope that the board would vote for this. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor. Anyone else wishing to speak in favor? Anyone opposed to placing this? Hearing and seeing none, do I have a motion to approve?
Can I ask a question, Mr. Chairman?
Sure.
Ma'am, do you think that, so you'll be parking on the street, you'll be getting out of your vehicle on the traffic side? Do you think that, that's a concern of mine, do you think that would be safer than being parked in the driveway?
I don't think I'll have difficulty because I wait for the cars to leave
Okay,
and then I get out.
okay. Do I hear a motion to approve?
Can I just make one statement? I just want the resident to know that, because they made the statement that the handicap spot will be there for them. The handicap spot, the problem that I know is gonna happen over there on Revere Street, especially where it's located, is anybody that has a handicap placard or plate is free to park in that spot. So, yeah, so I don't want you to have a misconception.
Okay.
Realize that.
And that, I can only go by what our city ordinances say, so that's what
Okay.
I wrote. But I just don't want them to get, especially that it's next door to a beauty salon,
Okay,
so.
all right. So you realize that anyone with a handicap placard could... Okay, do I hear a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Second? All in favor, all opposed?
Aye.
It's been approved, and it'll just take a little bit to get the sign up. Okay, ma'am? Okay. You're welcome.
It is listed as 80, what we have is 87 on the records, that's
Okay.
why, so that's why it's there. Even though they say 89 on the city registry, it says 87.
On the house?
Yeah.
Okay.
On the city records.
Okay.
Okay.
So when we go to put
It's
the
one of
sign
those,
up, it says
it's one of those.
Oh, it's one of those.
One of those in the city records, when you look it
Okay.
up on the,
We'll-
yeah,
we'll
on the
send it to
assessment
Nick.
pages, it's listed under 87.
Okay. Okay, you're welcome. Number 2, amend Schedule 8 of Title 10, Parking Restrictions Generally. Location McClevey Street, direction westerly from Park Ave to Rand Street. No parking anytime. Anyone wish to speak in favor of this? Hearing and seeing none. Anyone wish to speak in opposition to this? Okay, hearing and seeing none. Do we know who presented this?
I believe
Councilor Keefe?
Didn't this come up last time, and there was a resident here speaking on this?
There was a resident here last time speaking in favor of this, yes.
Favor.
This is along the highway side, correct?
It's along the highway, yes, the side of the guardrail.
So the concern, I think, at that time was that people park there and then they walk and get on the bus.
Yes, that's true.
Right.
Yeah. Okay, so.
So is a solution to that restricting parking altogether?
Yes.
Or- Because then, if somebody parks there and they're a commuter, there's nothing to stop them from parking on the other side as a commuter, right?
No, there's not.
But there'll be adequate room to navigate up and down the street, right? There's not parking both sides.
Okay. It's now, so you feel as though it's a,
Why don't we make it resident only?
I think-
I'm talking about daytime, the commuter one.
but I believe Chief Bright is saying that parking on both sides makes it narrow. Do you,
Oh, okay.
okay,
One side would make it.
okay.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Motion approved, do I hear a second?
Second,
Second, all in favor, all opposed? Okay, so we have McClevey Street, westerly, no parking. Number 3, the MBTA requests a public hearing regarding improvements to stop 5716 in the area of Broadway and Page Street. Anyone wishing to speak in favor of these improvements?
So Julie DeMauro, Transportation Coordinator for the City of Revere. So this is a stop that we all decided we were going to move back to its original location. Right, we're going to, actually, I'm sorry, we're going to keep the stop at its original location, which is near Dr. Carter's eye.
Okay,
Okay, so this one, the MBTA had requested to move it back in front of 21 Broadway, but we are going to leave it where it was. And just a point of reference, that stop, move from the lower end of Broadway back to 21 Broadway was never recorded in our listing of bus stops, and I checked that out. So this one should not be moved at all, it should stay where it's at.
stay where it
Yep.
currently is.
Okay.
Okay.
I just
No
have a
change.
question, if I could, to Julie. I know we met on that. Was there any reason why they didn't consider moving it down towards the overpass? Because there's nothing that next.
So
There's nothing.
so its current location right now is where it should be. It's further down from the speakeasy, it's in between, so I think it's fine where it is right now, I think, and that's its original location. I just want to make sure that anytime we start moving bus stops, that we follow the procedure that that MBTA notifies us, it gets changed in our ordinances. I think it's probably best that if we do decide to change it, we'll have the MBTA come in and we'll talk about changing it and have them come and formally request to change it down to another location. But right now, it was in its original location and it's fine where it's at.
Okay, so we're going to leave it where it is, no
Right.
change.
No change.
Sounds good, thank you.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes,
the bus stop was originally moved based on a council order.
okay,
And my position, and I talked to Julie about this, is we should start trying to put these bus stops where we impact the parking the least.
okay,
And I agree with Chief Bright, we should move it down to where no cars ever
Okay.
park after Dr.
Okay.
Carter's office. It's another 10-foot walk.
Okay, so this particular location, drove by it again this morning. No parking is allowed here anyway because of driveways. So even if we were to move this down towards Dr. Carter, we would not increase parking because of the driveways that are there.
Okay.
So it's in a spot now that it doesn't impact any spots. Everybody's happy.
Motion to
Yes.
approve.
Okay, second? Second, all in favor, all opposed? Approved. Number 4, the MBTA is requesting a public hearing regarding the following bus stops.
So this was advertised already, so this should be the public hearing.
It is.
Okay.
That's just the way it's worded a little funny.
Okay.
We are having a public hearing, and we have 5 spots. So should we take this stop by stop, I assume? The first one is stop 46275, 266 Cushman Avenue. I guess this impacts 3 spots. Anyone wishing to speak in favor?
Mr. Chairman, before we have the public speak, could we just get what's going on with each bus stop? Why
Sure.
we're changing it, or is it being moved?
Okay.
And the purpose?
Julie, do you know, or is this gentleman from the MBTA?
So this is Tom from the MBTA. So
Okay.
Tom, do you want to come on up and just give a brief explanation of what's happening? So he's
Okay.
working with the consulting group, McMahon Associates, and what they're doing is they're looking at all of the bus stops that are in their inventory.
Okay.
Most of these stops had 2 signs at one point, and that was to allow the buses to pull in straight to the curb, but now the signs have gone missing or sidewalk work, so they're just trying to place the original signs back up as well as, kind of define parking around the bus stop. But Tom can explain to you a little bit more.
Okay, thank you.
I'm afraid there's really not much more to add.
Okay.
There was a time when we had both bus stop signs, the front and the rear.
Okay.
Which typically gave the 70 feet that the buses need to swing in, get flush to the curb, and swing out again.
Okay,
But over time, the front and rear, they get taken out, and parking starts to encroach in. So we have a list of stops here that we've noticed that the rear sign is gone, but people have been parking there. So instead of just sticking a new sign in, we thought we'd come and talk to you about it.
okay. So when it says that the number of spaces impacted, these have already been impacted. This is a bus stop, and just because the sign is lost, people have just started moving in and encroaching on it.
Right.
Okay,
I do have a handout with photos of the bus stops if it helps at all.
okay.
If I could.
I think Chief Guida would like to take a look at those. So we're not talking about losing any spots that we previously had.
For the most part, no. The locations of the bus stops that we thought should not be approved, this list has been condensed. There were quite a few other locations where they wanted to take away parking, but we said no. So there's actually, Cushman Ave was one of the locations that should not be listed here.
Okay.
We agreed as a group that it would be taking away too much parking.
Okay.
So that's stop number 46275. That's the top one right there. So that one, myself and Jim Rose had gone out to take a look at it, and we both felt as though until our own parking regulations and sticker overnight parking becomes more into play, we should leave that one alone.
Okay.
Because we don't know who's actually using those spots from the housing development, so we wanted to make sure that we didn't take anything away that we would need later.
Okay.
So we left that as is.
Okay. That's good.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, go ahead, Chief.
Park Avenue at Dale Street. Why can't we just push the bus stop forward? No one can park on the corner anyways, and leave that parking space for the resident. The bus can still pull in and drive straight out.
All right, so let's take these one by one. So when we get to Park Ave in Irving, we'll discuss that one. So the next one would be Adams Street at Adams Court. Currently, there's no parking there anyway. So we felt as though there would be no disruption to any parking at any time.
see that one.
So it's stop number 5831.
5831. I don't see it here.
I'd like to ask the gentleman from the MBTA a question. On secondary streets, not primary thoroughfares, does the bus need to pull in?
So
Well,
there's no picture of that particular one on,
that,
But this is a generic question, like on
Okay.
side streets,
on,
a non-heavily traveled road.
for the most part, if there's a sidewalk, we want to try to pull the bus up to it so we can, if we have to, deploy the ramp and it can go onto the sidewalk. So
Okay.
we need to be able to swing in and swing out. Even on the side streets, there could be parking in many cases, so we'll use a front and a rear sign in those cases. On secondary streets where there is no parking allowed, we get away with just one front sign.
okay, so the Adams Street, it's not pictured here, but there's no parking there anyway.
Yeah,
So,
so I have
okay.
the Adams Street parking, actually,
Okay,
it's on page, I don't know, if it's on page 2, it's actually underneath the Cushman Ave stop. So if you take a look, if I can circulate what I have here, this is from the original notes.
okay.
Do you not have Adams Street?
No, they don't.
We do not have Adams Street.
Sorry, I had taken.
That's
it out of
okay.
the package.
No, no,
Okay.
there's no parking
There's no
anyhow, so-
parking anyway.
So, okay.
Yeah,
All right, so that's a moot point.
okay.
Okay.
Just for the record, the Adams Street stop is not in our ordinances.
Okay,
For some reason, the Cushman Avenue stops aren't in our records, and Adams Street aren't. With the 119 and the 411 crossover,
yeah,
when they crossed them over back in the day, they never recorded them with us.
okay,
Just so, get that clear right now.
okay. All right,
Okay.
so where does that leave us? So we're,
So do you, so like, the question would be, would you approve the setup with the continuation of no parking and the implementation of 2 bus stop signs along the corner of Adams Street, adjacent to Adams Court? So it would allow for a 90-foot pull-in, but once again, there's no parking there anyway.
so we'll take these up individually? Okay, so do I hear a motion to approve the Adams Street, Adams Court stop?
I'll make the motion as long as we're sure we're not displacing any parking.
Right, there's no parking.
Okay, motion to approve.
Second.
Second?
Yeah, so
All in
just to
favor?
clarify, Jimmy, on that
All in
one,
favor,
there
all
is
opposed?
no parking allowed on that side. Jim
Okay.
Rose checked on that. So
Okay.
that was, so in all of these recommendations, I want to be clear, Jim Rose did go and he looked at all of the parking regulations for each address that's listed on this sheet. So if he felt as though it was going to displace people and push people out of parking spots, and it's already an issue of parking anyway, then he said, no, we shouldn't do it. So just keep that in mind.
So he's already culled through these and you've taken out the
Yeah,
ones that he
yeah.
was opposed to?
And there is one that we need to just discuss because we did not agree with it, which is the South Irving stop.
Okay.
But we'll just take these individually.
No problem. Second one is 5831, 56275, 266 Cushman Avenue. And this is along the
So
house.
we've already done that one.
Are we talking about that?
266 Cushman Avenue. So then the next one is Adams Street. So the third one would be 5583.
We've already approved Cushman?
We did not approve it.
We did what? We removed it, okay. Where was I? Okay. Okay, next one, Park Ave at Dale Street. Okay, all right, I'm looking at the, 5583 Park Ave at South Cambridge Street.
So this one, we said it should be fine. There is a large condo building at the corner of that, but there are enough spots to cover the residents that live in there, and then there's enough off-street parking further up Cambridge Street, South Cambridge Street. So when we looked at this, Jim Rose also felt that this was okay. There was enough parking in the neighborhood as well as in the parking lot for that building to accommodate any displacement in front of the building.
Okay. Do I hear a motion to approve?
Motion approved.
Motion.
Second.
Second. All in favor, all opposed, approved. The next one. 5581 Park Ave at South Irving Street.
Okay, it's Park Ave at South Irving Street. This is one of the ones where, if you look at the picture, and I want to make sure that we have the right picture for this particular address. And one of the things that we talked about is the hedges and the driveway in between the hedges. So it's a black and white picture. What you would see a set of hedges, and then it looks like a driveway, and then another set of hedges. But this is the one that I forwarded to all of you, and I circled to show you where the actual, I think it was 50 feet, where the bus would pull into. So it's gonna clear the driveway anyway. But I think there was the issue of parking here. As you can see in the photo, there's somebody parked here in this little spot. We would really, so 75, so 50, so really, technically, this really isn't a legal parking spot since our parking spots need to be 18 feet long. So this little sliver over here is technically not a legal parking spot by
I believe that came before the Traffic Commission, and we put a sign up saying no parking.
parking, okay.
So, okay, we realize that's not a parking spot.
So that's not a parking spot.
Okay.
But that took a little clarification from the T, and they're resending us the information. So the two signs technically would be right at the corner of South Irving and Park Ave, and then right at the tip of the driveway, where the car is actually parked.
Okay,
Okay?
all right. What's the feeling?
You said that spot, that you see that car is not big enough?
No, it's not.
So I'll make a motion to approve.
Second? All in favor, all opposed? Okay, all right. Stop number 5825, Winthrop Ave at Elm Street.
Okay, this stop is the stop right near McMacken Little League Field. It's actually across the street. It's, when we looked at this, we agreed that this stop should be fine to, limit the parking there because you're near the League of Special Needs, and they already have two means of egress coming in and out of that parking lot. We also were not displacing any parking there at all. So we felt as though this one should be approved. If there was, in the incident that a bus was pulling in and somebody was trying to exit this parking lot for the League of Special Needs, they would still be able to do so because they have two means of egress.
Okay. Feeling?
Motion to approve.
Motion approved.
Second.
Second. All in favor, all opposed? It's approved. Okay, I think we're all set.
And I
Mr.
just think
Chairman?
in the future, I want to be clear.
There's
that
one more, Mr. Chairman.
In the future, I just want to be clear that we need to just make sure that the process is clear. We have a better contacts with the MBTA now, so we'll start doing this with, if there's any type of moving bus stops or request to move bus stops, that we'll work with the MBTA directly, and that they will notify us. It will come to a public hearing like we've done here, and then it will get recorded. So all of these will need to be recorded in in the schedule of bus stops.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think
Okay.
everything should be coordinated through Julie, since she
That's
works
fine.
closer with the MBTA.
Okay.
And she could be our conduit for the MBTA.
Okay, and then maybe in the interim, you can get a list from the MBTA and cross-check it with what Sergeant Janino has to see if anything's missing.
So currently, there is an audit list that is out there now, and that's being looked at by McCann Associates. And I've been, as things arise, especially like the one in front of the Speakeasy, I went back, I took that bus stop number and I went back to our original schedule.
Okay.
And especially that audit. So I've been doing a lot of cross-checking as things come up. But I know there was a couple that Chris and I had talked about that they were proposing, and they weren't even in the right location of the proposal. So there is a lot of cleanup that we need to do. I think we have almost, I think it's 350 bus stops in the city. So we need, so we need to, so it might be a case-by-case basis.
Good luck.
I would never have guessed that, 350.
Mr.
Thank
Chairman.
Okay,
Mr. Chairman,
yes.
in the pictures is Park Ave and Dale Street. It's not on the agenda, but if we're going to move forward with that, I would ask that the bus stop just be moved forward to the corner. I don't believe the bus turns down Dale Street.
Okay.
There's no
Park
need
and
to
Dale, the
eliminate that
picture's here, but
parking
it's not on
space.
our list.
Yeah,
It's in
so
the
Parkindale, so the Parkindale was one that we automatically said no to, because that stop keeps getting moved around.
Right.
I know you've had issues with that stop.
Well,
It
I
was
know the
moved-
dentist has had a lot of damage to her building, but
Right,
even if we leave the bus stop there, there's no need to eliminate the parking space. We can move forward and still have the 90 feet.
but I think at this point, and this is, and Jim Rose brought this up too, he said, we need to figure out how the parking situation in the city is really playing out. And we're really not gonna know that until all of the residents' sticker parking is on the cars, and we have a better data of what people are doing and how they're using the streets to park. So I think at this point, we'll leave this one alone. I don't think that this is really gonna change at all for this one.
Okay,
Because you have two houses there that don't have any driveway. When we looked at the GIS for the city, the driveway it's not even a legal driveway,
okay,
okay?
okay, thank you very much. Okay, moving on, let's see. Number 5, amend Schedule 5 of Title 10, one-way street, location Lawrence Road in a northerly direction from Leonard Road to Sear Street. Anyone wishing to speak in favor?
Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman, members of the
Councilor
commission.
Powers.
This is, actually what we're trying to do here is stop cars from going from Sears Street out through Lawrence and Leonard, out through Bay Road. Just make it one way. Coming in, actually from Bay Road, coming into Lawrence Road, Leonard Road, and they'd ultimately go down as far as Sears Street. It's a very narrow street, Lawrence and Leonard Road. They're very narrow streets, and it creates a problem if there's, two cars trying to get by there at the same time. So,
Okay,
thank you.
thank you, Councilor. Anyone else wishing to speak in favor? Anyone opposed to this? Hearing and seeing none, feeling of the
Motion to amend?
motion to amend? Do I hear a second?
Second.
Second. Okay, all in favor of opposed? Aye. Number 6, the neighbors are requesting that the city install a do not enter sign at the intersection of Linehurst Road and Agatha Street. Anyone wishing to speak in favor of this?
Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman and members of the board. Community liaison in the city of Revere, and I try to help residents alleviate their concerns. I'm here this evening on behalf of the D'Amelio family that live on Breeden's Lane. I was told by the D'Amelio family that this was a do not enter from Route 1 many, many years ago. Unfortunately, we couldn't find anything about it, but the family's sure that this is the case. So what happens in this area is people that are traveling on Route 1, if there's an accident or road work or something like that, or they're at the Cappy's liquor store, they tend to cut through this road. And what happens is, where the D'Amelio family lives, the street's very narrow, so with two-way traffic, and especially not having any sidewalks on the D'Amelio family side of the street, when big trucks go down the street and, they're passing each other, residents, and especially children going to school, are jumping on their wall to be safe because the street is so narrow. So they are requesting that a do not enter sign be placed at the intersection of Linehurst Road and Agatha Street. And as a community liaison, I'm in favor of it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else wishing to speak in favor? Anyone in opposition to this? Wishing to speak in opposition? Hearing and seeing none. Sergeant Janino, putting up a do not enter sign and creating a one-way, is that two separate things, or?
Yes.
Okay.
A one-way is a one-way.
Okay.
Do not enter sign. If you make a do not enter sign and keep it a two-way,
Okay,
it's almost impossible to enforce.
okay. Unless you're sitting right at that,
You're not going to be able to tell who's coming down it, who's not going down it. It's going to give you a false sense. People coming in the street, you get to know who's coming up it.
okay. All right.
Mr. Chairman, may I say
Yes.
something?
Sure.
I think the major problem in this area is the truck traffic from Route 1.
Right.
So I know that you and I had discussed this. You weren't in favor of a one-way, because the residents, I believe, on that street should be able to, go down the street. But it's the big truck traffic, which in that area, there are many signs that say no truck traffic, and we
Right.
actually put up more in that area. But unfortunately, with the building that's going on in that area right now, the trucks are still going to be in the neighborhood, but the main concern is after these big trucks have left the area and these homes are finished, that the big trucks going to like Happy's Liquor, or, like I said, if there's a detour on Route 1, they don't want these big trucks going down that street because it's too narrow.
Okay.
So I mean, I'm sure a one-way would be great too, but I mean, I don't know if the neighbors would be for that, but it seems like they do want the do not enter sign. Thank you.
Okay. I know it is on the books that there's no heavy trucking on those streets, and we have put up signs, and so that could be enforced. Any feelings on what?
We had officers up there for the last, a week ago, we had guys up there.
Okay,
Right now, it's impossible to enforce it.
okay,
Once the building is done, we can hit it then.
okay,
With the ongoing construction, we can't tell the difference who's who. So I had guys there in morning, afternoon, and nighttime for, I think, 3 or 4 days in a row.
okay,
And they were pulling over all the builders.
okay,
So until the building's done up there, we have to kind of stand by and watch and just keep an eye on things.
okay. But I mean, if an 18-wheeler or something, like a delivery truck goes up there, that's different.
Hi,
Hi.
excuse me. I live at 195 Breens Lane, Rose D'Amelio.
Yep.
I mean, it's not even the big trucks. We get Greyhound buses that come up there. I don't know if they're coming from the hotel, and you can't, I mean, the kids just jump up on my wall. All right, they're building we're having a new development. There's like 17 houses going on that street. Now, I've been up there for 48 years. And I got rid of all the commotion, taking drugs down the park. So we need to get rid of the traffic. I mean, they're going 40, 50 miles an hour. We had 2 head-on collisions in front of my house, and we had a car come down the street, take my whole wall away, flip over, take my tree down, and almost went in my family room. That's how fast they go up there. They're just, I mean, it's just crazy. My kids could cross the street. I sit on the street. You can't even cross to go over to the street because the cars come so fast. They're all coming in from the hotel, the liquor store, and if there's an accident, we have like 500 cars coming up the street. And you'll say this, some of you'll say to you, oh, I cut through the liquor store. Now you're talking thousands of people know that back road. Years ago, my husband's cousin Angelo, it was a one-way. And it was down near the liquor store, and it was a bar, and it was a one-way, and he went through it with the 10-wheel, and he says, I don't want that no more. It's not listed in the City Hall records that it was there.
Right.
We built our house, we were 23 years old, 48 years ago. It was there. And it was good, because once you go out, nobody can come back in.
Right.
I mean, and it's gonna, the children, all the children that live down the street, all right, we're gonna have 17 new houses, we're gonna get sidewalks on the right. But if you walk down the street and you walk on somebody's grass, They come out and they yell at these kids because they're walking on the grass and there's no sidewalks whatsoever. And we might not get sidewalks for 3 or 4 more years. And it's awful for the children, it really is. I mean, they have to do something with the traffic. And if they put no trucks, that's a joke. They go right by it. We have 3, 4 families on the street are running businesses with trucks. I mean, we all know down there, the liquor store, they got them in the yard. Down across the street, they have 3 of them. They're going to court, paying fines. But up there, like my husband says, come to North Revere, do anything you want. It's true, because that's what they're doing. Everybody's doing what they want up there. And I hope they can do something about it before one of these children get killed. My kids and my grandchildren are all gone, but I still watch these kids. We sit at the table and have breakfast, and they're walking along my 20-foot wall because they can't walk on the street because of the trucks are so big. He will tell you. He talks to my husband all the time.
Okay,
thank you very much. I hope they can do something about it.
Thank you very much, ma'am. And Councilor Serino, who's working today, has submitted a letter in favor of this do not enter sign being placed, and he's wrote quite a lengthy letter about all the reasons he feels as though it needs to be put up. I just want to enter this into the record. Thank you very much. Okay, what's the feeling of the, any?
Motion to install the do not enter sign at Linehurst Road and Agatha Street.
Okay. Second. So it's going to be a do not enter, but no one way. You just can't enter for now. Okay? All in favor, all opposed? Aye. Okay, so you have your do not enter sign. It's not a one way. You just can't enter. Okay, just can't enter from there. We'll go back to the old days. All right. All right, do I have motion to adjourn? Okay, aye. Thank you very much. Thank you, everyone.